Hey guys, not too long ago I purchased my very first pressure cooker and I opted to go with the electric pressure cooker. I read up on them and I decided that that would probably be the better option for me. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with stovetop pressure cookers, but that's just what I went with. So I decided on the Instant Pot IP-DUO60, which is this one here. And there are a few things that you need to know before you start using it. As always, read your manual first. Always read your manual. But I'm just going to walk you through a few of the things that you need to know about the pressure cooker, and then we'll do the initial test run, which is also the water test. So let's just go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so you have the body of your pressure cooker. What you need to do before anything is wash the inner pot and the lid, as well as the ring. You know, I really can't remember if the ring came installed when I got it, but it's very easy to take off and to put back on. This is your anti-block shield. And that just, I could see, that just snaps back into place. That's so the food particles don't get stuck in the steam valve. You have your steam release here. I don't know if you can see or not, but it says venting and sealing. So this is sealing, this way is venting. This is your float valve, and this will pop up when there's enough pressure inside. You have little holders on either side, so you can put your lid there or put your lid here, which is really convenient when you don't have anywhere else to put it. Your pot came with a trivet, which is good to put meats on or vegetables if you don't want them to touch the bottom of the pot. This is your inner liner, and sorry, that's loud. There has been concern that the pot is not flat on the bottom, which is perfectly normal. You also have a little ladle that's plastic. I've never used this one. You also have your little rice scooper, for lack of better words. I don't know what it's called. But on the side of your Instant Pot, you have this little notch where you can rest your spoon. I believe it's only for the spoons that came with it. Okay, I'm going to put the lid on. In order to put the lid on, you have to match up your arrows. I decided to go ahead and I used a white or a silver paint Sharpie that's oil-based, because that's where they need to line up, and that just makes your life a whole lot easier. So on the back, turning this around, now I'm trying to watch this through the camera, you have your condensation collector. That's what this little cup is here. And that needs to fit in right there. There's little notches in there, and you just press it in. You also have your measuring cup. This is not a standard measuring cup. This is for rice. I personally have never used this, but that's what that is for. And then you also have a notch in the back here, which is for your cord, to kind of keep it out of the way if you need it to go a certain direction. So that's just a quick get to know what's what in your pressure cooker. Now everything can go in the dishwasher except the lid. I hand wash everything. I don't put anything in the dishwasher, but as you can see, you just press your ring around and make sure that it's sitting in there nice and flush. It can be just a tad loose. Mine is. It doesn't have to go a certain way. You can put it in either way. Now to do the initial test run, you need to fill your pressure cooker to the line, to the mark number 3 inside. Let's see if it will show up on there. I'm just going to go ahead and fill that real quick. Okay, now as you can see, I have filled my water to the line number 3 there. You always want to use your inner pot whenever you are pressure cooking. Now I'm going to plug in the machine. Okay, so it says it's off. As always, check to make sure your ring is there. Check to make sure that your anti-block shield is there. And then you put this on. And did you hear that little sound? So now I'm going to twist it, which is going to lock. and that tells me that the lid is on. You need to make sure also that your little valve back here is on sealing. And by sealing, that's going to block it so that all the pressure will build up inside. Once your pressure builds up inside, the little float valve will pop up, but it's going to take time to do that. It'll take just about 15 minutes. What you need to do is you need to steam it for 2 minutes, and your steam button is right here. So I'm going to press steam, and then it defaults to 10 minutes. And then you use the minus button, and we're going to subtract it all the way down to 2. Okay, now it's going to automatically start. Oops. It's going to start before me. Okay, so I'm just going to hit start on my phone and let that run. Now what's going to happen is this says on. I'm perfectly okay standing right here because I know how this works and I know that no steam is going to come out. Your lid is locked in place. Everything is the way that it's supposed to be. Once enough pressure builds up inside of the cooker, your little float valve is going to pop up, and after a couple of minutes, your timer is going to start counting down. So you can just, go about your business. You might see some steam coming out of the valve, which is perfectly normal, and you'll also hear some grumbling and boiling inside, and you'll hear the steam. Typically, when I cook food, it only takes about 5 minutes or so for it to come to pressure and for the pin to pop up. But this is taking longer because I have so much liquid in there. You can see it moving. There it goes. That took just under 15 minutes. You're not supposed to touch the top of the pot where it's stainless steel or the sides because it does get hot. This timer will start counting down shortly. It doesn't usually take too long. By doing these steps, you will familiarize yourself with the machine and be a little more at ease when you decide to start cooking with it. And I like to show you how to make some things. Like today, for instance, I made something real easy. I made some pinto beans. Okay, so see how the timer started? Now that took 18 minutes to get that part going. These are just some basic pinto beans I made today. So your timer's gonna count down. It's at 2 minutes. It'll go down to 1 minute, and once the 1 minute is up, it will beep. According to the instructions, you need to let the machine cool. I'm not going to do that today. Okay, so that took us 20 minutes to do that part of the water test, the initial test run. Now that it has beeped and it's gone into its keep warm mode, the pot is no longer heating up. It's starting to cool down. But your valve, your float valve, is still up because there's a lot of pressure inside the machine. And you have two different types of release. You have natural release and quick release. And natural release is where you don't do anything else to the pot and it cools down by itself, and the pressure is just released naturally through this little valve. And then you have your quick release where you flip the knob and the steam comes shooting out. In the manual, it says to let it cool down. For the sake of the video and time, I'm not going to let it cool down, but if you just let it cool down on its own, you'll hear the little button go down. You don't want to touch it either because it's hot. You'll hear it go down, and that means that all the pressure has been released. You can twist your lid and open it. I'm going to show you how to do a quick release, but instead of just letting the steam come out and go everywhere, I like to put a towel over it. And this might come in handy in some instances because you might make a mistake and put something in there that gets kind of frothy and then stuff's going to spatter out everywhere. So this might be something that you want to do anyway. So I have a towel. I throw it over the top and I flip the knob like that. So now you can hear it releasing, and if I don't, that's what it's like. You see the steam coming up. Okay, so it's almost done releasing all of the steam, and you can tell how it slowed down and it's not as intense as it was. That's what it sounds like, and your valve is still up. So once the steam is released, then that little valve is going to come down. It's just going to drop and you're going to hear it. That took us about 28 minutes or so to do the initial water test. So make sure that you allot enough time to do that. So now that all the steam is released, I can go ahead, twist this, and open it. And water is going to come out from any of these little, I don't know what you call them, these little notches right here where it looks black, where you see the outer part of the lid. It's always gonna come. So I open it and I always tilt the lid over the pot just to catch that, and then I'll attach it to the side. So this is what the inner pot looks like now. No big deal. This is what the lid looks like. And that's it, guys. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and stay tuned, because I'm going to make more videos on the pressure cooker. I've made several things in it and I kind of want to share those recipes with you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.